Western Carolina kicking off for the second half. Williams, a driver deep. It goes to Williams at the goal line. He's going to bring it out. 10, 20. Bowling his way to the 25. So the second half underway with Clemson getting the football and leading 27-0.
I think it's interesting to note, Art, that the Western Carolina team did not come out together. The 4 captains were sent out to meet in the middle of the field with the Clemson captains. While the Tigers were on the field, their entire team, Western Carolina was still in the locker room. Bob Waters, I'm sure, had plenty to say with the score 27-0. Let's see how it turns out here in the second half.
Mike Epley, your starting quarterback for Clemson here in the second half. On the sweep. Mack is forced out of bounds at the 30-yard line by Nicholson, Miles Nicholson from Lakeshore, College Park, Georgia.
Clemson coming out in a pro set for the first time, what I used to call a brown set, with the fullback behind the quarterback and the tailback leading on that particular play. Mack was actually running a sweep, which you don't see fullbacks run the sweep that often.
Epley sends Shelton Boyer to the near side. Play goes up the middle, however. Lewis Cooper is there to stop Mack.
Question of intensity here. Clemson leading 27-0. One of the dangers of football is it's a very intense sport. You have to be almost at the razor's edge at all times. With the score 27-0, the Clemson team may relax. You don't want to relax. You need to be tense. The muscles have to be ready. You could get an injury.
3rd and 3 at the 32. Butler to the near side. Alley to the far side. They just keep going right up the middle. They want that first down the tough way. Bernard Jones in to make the stop on Stacy Driver. Driver, that little cannonball. He's 5'10", 175 pounds, but as we saw in the first half, packs a lot of dynamite.
How did his parents know? Driver. What a perfect name for this kid. He does drive. Western Carolina, I think, will try and regroup here. They have to have some good things come out of this game, and there's one of them right there. It's short by about 3 inches. They need some positive things. They need some positive performances. They have to close some of those holes in the middle. Clemson's making it tough on them. They're going outside, they're going inside, they're throwing short, long. Tough to defense a team that does everything well against you.
Kaiser is back. You see him there approaching his 15-yard line. And Dale Hatcher's punt. A beauty, a high floater. Fair catch called for. They'll take it right there at the 21.
Fair catch at the 20-yard line.
Kaiser's an interesting story. I talked about him catching the ball with his body. He came to Western Carolina as a walk-on. And he does not catch the ball. Most receivers will catch the ball outside their body with their hands. You're taught to do that. He likes to catch the ball against his body. He's a fighter. He'll play tough. And you know, a guy who returns punts as he does has got to be a pretty strong-minded individual.
So let's see if Western Carolina has regrouped. The pitch back to Williams. Nice gain on the play to the 30-yard line.
Interesting there. They ran that play a few times in the first half, but when the back got the pitch, he was running laterally. Williams was turned towards the line of scrimmage, and he had some momentum upfield when he caught the ball, and that's what got him to the line of scrimmage.
14 rushes for 98 yards. You see him there on the sideline watching the Clemson defense now on a 2nd and 1 for Western Carolina. Williams again veers off the block. We've got a flag, though. It looked like it might be holding it on the right side of the line.
Well, that was a very strange-looking play. It gained some yardage. It looked like there was a procedure penalty there. Let's take a look. Blocking below the knees, is that what that is? Blocking below the knees. It looked like the timing was off on that play, but Williams made a nice run on it. Penalty will be against the Catamounts, and they don't need that. And Bob Waters, I'm sure, spent a good part of the halftime talking about the early penalties, how it hurt their momentum, how it got them in a hole. And you don't want to come out and have more penalties. Look, there's Bob Waters right there, and I tell you, that arm's probably not the only thing that's hurting him right now. He's probably aching all over.
And it's a big one, sending the ball all the way back to the 15-yard line. You mentioned Leonard Williams, the running back for Western Carolina. He's 8th in career rushing for this school with 1,354 yards coming into the ball game. 9th in scoring. He scored 20 touchdowns his freshman and sophomore year. So it's second, and the ball on a 15-yard line. 16 yards to go for a first down, and was he pulled off? Looks like he was.
That was William Perry. And Steve Taylor is the center, number 57 for Western Carolina. It's offsides on the Tigers. Steve Taylor is 6'3", 245 pounds, and he weighs 80 pounds less than William Perry. And if you don't think that's like trying to stop a Volkswagen that has a running start on you. Oh, they're going to call. Wait a second here.
Well, it's the first game of the year for the officials, too, Kim.
Now, wait a second. Now, they indicated this penalty was on Clemson.
And yet James Robinson, number 83, was clapping his hands saying, hey, it's ours.
Hey, go on back the other way.
Well, Robinson gets the acting award. We'll accept the mistake.
Fool the
on
official.
Our part anyway, and it's second down now at 11 yards to go for Western Carolina. Look at Perry as he sets up over that center. Massive, 320 pounds, and fast to boot. Gilbert, your signal caller now on a 2nd and 11 at the 20. And Perry, he says he's pointing right the direction to Regan, Marty Regan, a 6'2", 288-pounder.
Okay, now Perry's looking into the backfield at something. Let's see if we can see movement here. Perry's watching for movement. We don't know what his key is. There's the offensive tackle. But now the offensive tackle can move if he gets back and sets for a minute. Okay? Perry sees the movement and he jumps. And they called it on Western Carolina.
So now it's 2nd and 16. Of course, we might have had a little slower motion than normal. Sack back at the 8-yard line, Jimmy Scott.
Well, that's great pressure, but Bernard Perry makes the defense here. Bernard Perry will occupy 2 or 3 people, and that frees up a lot of people one-on-one. Let's watch Bernard Perry. Number 66, right in the center of your screen. You can't miss him. He's wide. Now, he's going. But they have a back isolated on him, too. 3 guys trying to block him. The backside comes and gets Gilbert. Bernard
James
Perry.
Robinson coming from the left side, and it left it open for Scott.
Bernard Perry may not get to the quarterback, but he'll occupy some people.
Well, that nose guard is usually an unsung hero because he usually takes more than one man to block him. Williams has a little opening at the 10, moves up to the 19-yard line on a 3rd and 23 play. Terrence Mack in to make the stop on Williams.
Well, you may ask, how do you block a guy like William Perry? Believe it or not, and I'm not being facetious here, you let him pick a side, and then you continue to push him that way. You get his own weight working against him. If he picks the wrong side and you push him that way, he'll create a hole himself, and then you seal off the other side, and at least in theory, you have a hole.
Carnegie standing back on his 4-yard line. Well, they go for him. Billy Davis is deep. Gets a nice punt away for the situation, but it floats off his foot out of bounds, and so it'll be a little closer than we thought it was. With the score, Clemson 27, Western Carolina nothing. We'll pause now for a word from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network. Clemson taking over. Terrific field position at the 49-yard line, 1st and 10. Williams in motion. Epley tosses back to Flagler. That's one of the first times he's been stopped near the line as he falls ahead for a gain of a couple of yards. Before you're making the tackle.
The motion on that play changed the coverage, brought Dukes up, and made him the force man, changed the strong side. So Dukes became the force man on the strong side, and then they ran in that direction. Dukes came up and played off the block and caused Flagler to be stopped for a short gain. It's good defense by Western Carolina.
Alley split to the far side. 2nd down and 8 at the 49. Nice play. Kevin Mack, that first man through, had a tackler who just, well, he was dragging him toward the first down marker, and it's so close we'll have to have a timeout to see if he indeed got the first down. Flagler now has hit the century mark with 15 carries, 100 yards.
That's
Terrence Flagler.
A year's work for some people. We're going to have a measurement here. You wonder about the defense. When you got a guy like Flagler who's running for big yardage, you have to key on him. And when he's in a tailback position, if he takes a step right, chances are your linebackers are going to step with him, and that's what opens it up for Mack. If your linebacker slides and you can block him down that way, you get a big hole for that fullback hitting quick, and that's probably what's going on down there. I'll try and watch the linebackers a little bit.
Okay, 3rd and 1 at the 42. Flagler looks like he got the first down that time as he got it to the 40-yard line. Stuart Lay, a sophomore from Athens, Georgia, making the tackle. Played at Clark Central High School there. He's the left cornerback. First down for Clemson.
That's power football over Reed Ingle, the left tackle. They send Kevin Mack and then Flagler, and somewhere there's got to be a hole.
Dunn back at tight end. Riggs comes out of the ball game. Epley to pass. He's got his man. Boyer, Sheldon Boyer. Epley had all day to get it to him with the rollout action, and he, boy, there was a seam there that was a mile wide.
Let's watch where Boyer comes from. I think he comes from the backside here, and he drags. You don't want to give Epley all this time. Look at all the time he has. He's got a receiver coming from the other side of the field, and that's very tough on the defense. There's Boyer. See him coming from the backside of the field behind the linebackers where they can't see him.
Sheldon Boyer from Charlotte, North Carolina. Flagler breaks in the open now. Drives his way toward the 10-yard line on a 1st and 10 from the 25. Steve Marshall making the stop at about the 11-yard line. Flagler's got to be getting tired.
Running backs never get tired of gaining yardage.
Give me the ball.
They'll aggravate you. That's
ball
a counter.
placement at the 12.
That's a little counter there, and Flagler, as you see, he goes back across the grain, and he's picked up big yardage all day on that play.
Clemson already 27-0, and it's the quarterback, Epley. Epley in for the touchdown.
Danny Ford, head coaches never smile, but you can bet he's smiling inside. He's had a tough offseason, and there's nothing like 33 points on the board to make you feel good. A good run by Epley, but when everything's working, no defense in the world that can stop it.
Bob Paulding in to try the extra point. He's hit his last 35 in a row. It's up and it's good. So with 9 minutes and 19 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. It's 34-0 Clemson. Let's take another look.
This is a classic case of, coach, who should I tackle? For Western Carolina defense, they've got to check on Mack. Does he have the ball? Somebody's going to hit him. Yep. Epley just takes off. Number 42 caught inside, and Flagler, he's just trailing the play. He doesn't even need to get the ball, although Epley could have pitched. If he wanted to give it to Flagler, he could have run in too. Touchdown, Clemson, and yes, it was probably as easy as it looked.
What a luxury to have an option that far down the line in front of a new record crowd here at Clemson. Memorial Stadium, 71,500 on hand to see the opening game of the season for Clemson against Western Carolina. On that last play, I'd like to point out, too, a young sophomore, 6'4", 275 at right tackle. He's the backup at right tackle. David Clayton did a nice job of blocking to allow that play to hit pay dirt. Rashid is back near his own goal line. Igwe Buike again to kick off. 6 plays, 51 yards in only 2 minutes and 28 seconds. Epley crowning that drive with a 12-yard run. Another high one, doesn't matter which way the wind's floating. And he decides wisely not to bring it out. There you see the scoring drive. As we mentioned, 51 yards in 2 minutes and 28 seconds of play. And Epley with the touchdown.
Most damaging thing to the Catamounts about that drive is that they did everything on it. It wasn't one play or one side. They went everywhere, and they were able to get into the end zone using every play in the book.
A happy Tiger fan that's losing her concentration on the game. Williams isn't losing his concentration, though. Leonard Williams stopped by Ron Watson. Watson, the free safety from Jefferson, Georgia.
Carolina's offense looks a little bit quicker. They're running out of that eye, and it seems Gilbert is getting rid of the ball a lot quicker. I thought he was extremely tentative in the first half. He's pitching the ball quick and giving his back a little time to pick a hole, and Williams is doing a good job here in the second half. He's getting ready for Boston College next week.
After every touchdown, the Tiger does his push-ups. Second down, 1 to go at the 29 for Western Carolina. Williams again. No place to go. Very well played by Childers.
Well, that's exactly the opposite. He took this ball running laterally and not forward, and because he was running laterally, it took him 2 steps to get going. And against Clemson's defense, let me tell you, you had better be going forward when you get the ball.
Childers with 57 tackles last year and 3 interceptions. Also extremely good on the safety blitz. So it'll be 3rd and 5 now for Western Carolina. Gilbert, interception, penalty flags down. 2 flags, 3 flags on the gridiron. Childers, we were talking about him. Let's check the flags and see if that play will count.
Well, I'll tell you, Childers made the interception, but he ought to give the ball to William Perry, because Perry was about to do a ribcage number on Gilbert.
Check
watch
it right
this.
there, 66.
Here comes big number 66. And watch this. Hello. And
he's content with
I don't know. They
down.
say they can't hear a guy running on grass, but I bet you can hear Perry when he runs on grass. Gilbert, just a bad pass. Look at double coverage, the receiver down. It could be interference.
320 pounds of Perry. I bet you can hear him coming on that grass.
There's never enough grass under his feet to keep him quiet.
That's right.
Yeah,
The interference on the offense.
interference both ways on this
Both
play.
ways, right.
And as we used to say in the streets of New York, it's a do-over.
3rd and 5. Let's try it again at the 25 for Western Carolina. Rashid to the far side, Kaiser to the near side. Gilbert going to his tight end, and it should have been another interception by Childers.
Gilbert
He might not have been able to believe that ball was coming to him that time after 2 in a row.
Well, Gilbert has had a terrible afternoon, but again, for Gilbert, this is his first game as a starter, and they need him this year, and he's going to stay in there. It's basically, you're going to do it until you do it right. It's got to be tough for him in front of all these people, but he's a tough kid. He's going to hang in there, and he'll learn a lot.
2 popular individuals back on the field now. Carnegie will do his kicking from the 10, and Billy Davis, Clemson's very fine punt returner, drifting back on a beautiful punt. He takes it at the 23-yard line. Doesn't have too far to go before he gets out of bounds. This is Art Eckman with Kevin Kiley from Memorial Stadium in Clemson, and we're in the 3rd quarter. The score, Clemson 34-0 over Western Carolina. Peretti gets his pass knocked down. A fine rush that time. Surratt. John Surratt, he's 6'1", but he's playing taller than that right now. He's only a sophomore from Henrietta, Georgia.
He's also playing wider than that. He's 255 pounds, and he's a sophomore. He's a stand-up defensive end, 6'1", 255. If you're wondering, is that big? That's bigger than big.
Surratt is the number 3 defensive end. He'll go either way, on the right side or left side. He's in there with Bernard Jones right now in the defense. 2nd and 10 at the 28 for the Tigers. We're ready to Flagler. Flagler, oh, nice move. That should have been tackled by Kurt Woods in the backfield, but Flagler had a nice brush-off move to gain yardage out of what could have been a bad loss.
Almost a draw play. One of the toughest plays in football to stop is that eye draw. You can run it with power, and it conceals itself very well. He should have been tackled in the backfield. You're absolutely right, Art. But Flagler, aside from being extremely fast, seems to be a little slippery today, too.
Boyer to the near side. 7:03 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Peretti drops back, now rolls. He's got his man wide open, Riggs. Jim Riggs. He's 6'5" and makes a nice target down there.
Well, you got to like Peretti. I mean, this kid, very little publicity, and he rolled away from his arm. In other words, he rolled left. He's a right-hander, stopped, and hit this kid on the run. When you hear about a receiver finding a seam, that's what happened on that play. The receiver goes down right there, and he finds a hole in the defense, makes a good catch, and he gets stuck by Duke. But a pretty good throw by Peretti.
Up the middle to Flagler. game's 2 on the play.
Garrett Flagler on the carry.
Ricky Pate making the stop.
Tackle made by Ricky Pate. Second inning baseball.
There's Peretti, 3 completions out of 8, 22 yards, but he's played better than that. He picks his receivers very well, has a lot of poise, and this is very valuable experience for him because there's some physical teams coming up on Clemson's schedule. If something was to happen to Epley, Peretti has to step in.
Charleston and Ruyak, 2 young receivers coming out of the ball game. The veterans coming back in. Full back up the middle. Williams.
Braxton Williams running the ball. Tackle made by John Surratt.
Surratt again on the tackle. And again, 6'1", 255 pounds is tough to move. Here's a guy who's got major college size to play with anybody. And if he gains the experience, he could be a big factor for Carolina when they go into that Southern Conference race.
Clyde Simmons also coming off the pile. He's 6'5", 222. He's only a sophomore from Wilmington, North Carolina. Flagler has 19 completions for 122 yards right now. 3rd and 5 at the 47. What protection. What a catch. Yes, he's inbounds. Oh, what a catch that time by Rulak. The youngster is getting some play time here. I don't think he expected. He's a freshman from Jacksonville, Florida.
Well, I'd like to say there was a mix-up on coverage, but there was no coverage. Terrence was running down the sideline, and give Peretti credit. He went back, he looked around, and he saw him running up the sideline and hit him wide open. Just got his toe in bounds for the completion.
Williams to the far side. And it's Boyer to the near side now. Peretti bumps and then hands to Flagler. Flagler hits that hole very quick. Ricky Pate, the linebacker, finally having to make the stop after the lineman had a shot at him.
Well, there was a hole, but Flagler's very slippery on wet turf. He's in and out and in, and he made about 3 cuts within a 5-yard span. That's the type of tailback you need, a kid who can change direction on a dime. And Flagler's proven today that he's a first-class back, and he's going to be heard from the rest of the season. 126 yards on 20 rushes.
A gain of 4. That makes it 2nd and 6 at the 18 for Clemson. Flagler. Nice veer at the right time. Cuts inside and gets inside the 10-yard line. Richard Dukes making the tackle. Well, this guy's got to be tough to chase. If you're a secondary man, you've got to be almost in perfect position.
Let's watch him. He looks inside. Not many backs can do this. He looks inside for hole, no hole. I'll go outside. And he goes outside and outruns the defense in doing it. There are not many backs that can get away with that.
1st and goal now for Clemson at the 9-yard line. Flagler. And he takes it to the 5. Richard Dukes once again coming up very rapidly along with Ricky Pate, the linebacker.
Interesting that Dan Ford would keep Flagler in and run him as much as he has. He had a great first half. He's answered any questions you might have about him. And Ford, one of the luxuries he has is tailbacks. You think he'd switch in some more tailbacks and run him, get him some experience.
A bouncing first bouncer fly. Flagler saves the day with some sure hands. Nicholson had plenty of time to come up on the play. Let's check it out again.
It looks like Epley is not, Peretti was not expecting the snap. He just as I did right there, he juggled it a little, and don't do that, Anthony. Anthony, you've got to take the sack, especially that close, and he'll be talked to about that after the game. If you're going down, go down.
Nice to have someone with good hands like Flagler, though, to pick up that bouncer.
And a good tongue describing the play.
3rd and 7 now. 3rd quarter action. And the receiver looked like he went the wrong way, or else Peretti threw it the wrong way, because Williams cut inside. The ball went on a post. The receiver went on a post.
Quite often on the goal line, look at Dan. Dan's saying, oh, no. On the goal line, you'll find that because they're so close in, the patterns are timed. Hey, I'm going to throw it to the flag, and you get out there. You don't have much time to beat the guy. That's probably what that was, but somebody mixed it up.
Peretti the holder. Williams the snapper. And Pauling's kick is up, and it is good. Clemson, 34-0 over Western Carolina. Now make it 37 with the field goal. 37-0. We'll be back with more Clemson football after this word from Burger King. There you see the young man, Donald Igwe on the kickoff. Will he put it into the end zone again? Rashid, he says, I'm going to take it out. Rashid comes up to the 20-yard line. I think he's probably tired of not running him back, Kevin.
If I'm Bob Waters and my offense has had so little effect on the Clemson defense, I've got to look at that as an offensive play. And if Rashid can get to it, even if he's standing on the back line of the end zone, he's down, but he seems to be alert. Seems that he has a bruise on his leg. I got to say, Eric, catch the ball and run it out, because we've got to get some offense going.
Guy Varn on the special teams making the stop on him.
How does the sunglasses stay on? I don't know. When I do push-ups with my glasses on, they slide off.
Well, your ears aren't as big.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of that. What they're doing, they're counting the push-ups that the Tiger is doing. And if you just tuned in, I think that's indicative of the score. It's 37-0 Clemson, and about all that's left is to count the push-ups. Rashid going off the field, he seems to be all right. Good player, Rashid. Hasn't had too much opportunity to shine today, but an outstanding receiver for Western Carolina.
Tyrone DeLapp comes in for him. Young man from Winston-Salem. Played at North Davidson High School there. He's 5'11", 171 pounds. Gilbert on the pitch, goes to Dorsey. Dorsey's rocked out of bounds at the 29-yard line. He's pushed out there by Rod McSwain.
Well, that's great blocking at the corner. Cutting down, specifically, number 72, Ray Brown went down. That allowed the ball carrier to get outside on that play. That's good blocking by Western Carolina. Remember, this team won 4 out of their last 5 ball games. They've got some character in this program, and they're not going to lay down for anybody. So they're going to come after Clemson here in the next quarter.
2nd and 2 on the 28. Pitch back to Williams. Ouch.
Number 20, Leonard Williams.
Very helpless feeling when you lose your footing like that.
Jeff Wells, 6'4", 230 pounds, put every one of those pounds behind him, and consequently, we've got a man down. We're in the 3rd quarter with 2 minutes, 27 seconds remaining with the score. Clemson 37, Western Carolina nothing. 3rd down and 3 to go for Western Carolina. They're at their own 27-yard line. Gilbert taking a long count. Back split, fumbles the snap, picks it up. Good protection, and he hits his man over the center.
Well, that's got to be a big lift for Gilbert. He dropped the ball, was able to pick it up and find a receiver. And believe me, when you're in a game like this and you're on the losing end, you're looking for anything to pat yourself on the back for. A good play by Gilbert. And a 1st down, a 3rd down conversion, and they've been scarce today for the Catamounts.
Tyrone DeLapp caught that ball. He's only 5'11", a junior from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. 1st and 10. Ball resting at the 40 for Western Carolina.
That's Devane jumping off sides, I believe, unless he was drawn off. There's a flag down.
Williams making the stop, and that's exactly what it'll be. Devane jumping off sides. Devane alternates with Perry. Perry, the more physical specimen. Devane is one of those hard workers that keeps improving year after year after year. And sometimes when you play in the heat that Death Valley is known for here at Memorial Stadium, boy, it is so valuable to have those guys coming in and out.
Well, Devane's just a little guy, you know. He's only 275, and Perry beats him just on sheer bulk.
Western Carolina at the 45, 1st and 5. Gilbert bounces it over to Kaiser.
You wonder why a player, as in the last play, a player would jump off sides. A defensive lineman is taught to read movement. The middle guard, of course, should be going when the ball moves. He shouldn't be looking peripherally on either side if somebody else moves and have him jump off. It's easier. I was always taught to move on the ball, and everybody looks down the line at the ball. As soon as it moves an inch, and you can almost see the center's hand start to flex, you go, because you know the ball is going to be hiked.
Of course, Devane caused a fumble against Nebraska not long ago, and he went over an All-American center to get that. Caused the fumble and picked it up at the same time. Maybe he was looking for the same type of action. The pass complete at the 50-yard line. Melvin Dorsey making the reception. 2-year Letterman senior. He graduated after his freshman year from the University of Georgia. So at midfield now.
He's not known as a pass receiver, and that was one heck of a catch. He's a very physical player, a good blocker, and that was an excellent pass by Gilbert. He laid it out on the sideline where it couldn't be intercepted, and Dorsey went out and got it.
1st and 10, here he comes. Ken Brown, the new defensive end from Hartwell, Georgia.
Well, that's the Bandit. And in case you're wondering why they call it a Bandit, it's because they steal the ball. And he blasted Gilbert. You don't want to hit a quarterback, have your quarterback hit. Here's the replay. Gilbert never sees him coming. Sets up a little slowly, but here comes the Bandit.
And then Devane is looking for the football. Mike Epley coming over to the sideline now to check with his coaches as Clemson takes over the football on the Western Carolina 40-yard line, 1st and 10, leading it 37-0. 42 seconds, as you see there, left in the 3rd quarter.
I think we should talk a little bit about the Bandit. The Bandit is a defensive end, linebacker, strong safety type. Has to be a great athlete. You remember Andy Hedden from last year. Of course, he's with the Giants. He was a great athlete. To take a young kid like Brown and turn him into a Bandit is going to take some time. In this game, there's not much pressure on him, but you see what they can do. They can flex him out. They can blitz him. They can drop him back in coverage. They can double cover with him. And the reason they call him a Bandit, not a defensive end, is because he plays all over the field. In that case, of course, Gilbert, not expecting a blitz, certainly with the score 37-0, a blitz is not a commonplace thing, and you saw the result of it. That could happen in a very close game, and that's the value of having a Bandit back.
Takes a very versatile athlete.
You need to have maybe the best athlete on the team playing that position.
Duke Holloman in at fullback from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And Stacy Driver is your tailback. Epley calling the signals. Epley had nowhere to go. Terrific pressure, and finally Kurt Woods forced him to the turf with his move.
Look at Western Carolina tapping each other on the helmets. You've got to love that. A team that's down 37-0, they're playing on just morale now, and the preparation in the preseason that you put a team through, you get them to, they live together, they eat together. This is where it pays off. When you're in a hole like this and you can still tap each other on the helmets, you've got some spirit.
Herman out, Clayton in. The offensive tackle. Driver got a nice block from the official, still on his feet, and he scrambles for the first down, or no, he scrambles to the original line. Back to about the 41 where Jim Luther caught up with him. You as a former linebacker, I bet you like those officials standing out there. That's a tough job for them to stay out of the way.
Yeah, it is. I always wondered how they could stay out of the way. In fact, I think I only ran into an official one time.
With the score, Clemson 37, Western Carolina nothing. We'll pause now for a word from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network. We change ends of the field, and it's Clemson with that 37-0 score, but Western Carolina still well poised, realizing they've got a full season ahead of them.
Carolina is picked 3rd in the Southern Conference, a dark horse, and as I said, they feel very good about their team. Clemson's pretty powerful, and they can't take this game too seriously throughout the rest of the year.
Rulak to the far side. Epley's going for Rulak, and he's open! Touchdown! The most push-ups in one game by the Tiger was set back in 1981, 465 against Wake Forest. I don't know if this Tiger in the first game of the season is quite up to that.
They probably have to give that Tiger a physical exam before every game. Rulak just beat the coverage on that play, and it was a great pass by Epley.
Bob Pauling. He is deadly at that extra point game, and he makes the score. Clemson 44-0.
All right.
Let's check out that beautiful play. And what an arm by Peretti, or I should say Epley, as he found that youngster, Rulak,
All right, Epley sets up. It's play action, and that's got to hold the corners. He lets it fly because at this point, Brulac has him beat by 10, 15 yards. They're catching up, but there's no way they're going to get him there, and it's a touchdown. That's an easy touchdown, and because they've run so well all day, it makes it pretty tough on that secondary.
I like the way Epley sets up quick with his feet. This is Art Eckman with Kevin Kiley from Memorial Stadium in Clemson. We're in the fourth quarter with 7:50 remaining, with Clemson leading Western Carolina 44-0. Williams on the fake reverse, still has the football. Walton was faked out and out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
Delton Hall said, what happened? It looked like a double reverse, and Williams went right around him. Here we go. Watch this. Williams fakes it. Delton Hall right there, 35, caught inside. Good learning experience for you, Delton. You have the outside contained, and Williams, a good, solid back, goes for a big gain.
And a freshman from Adairsville, Georgia, Perry Williams, coming up from the cornerback spot to make the stop. 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. 7:41 remaining in the game, but what valuable experience now for the youngsters on this Western Carolina team, and a fumble on the exchange.
Well, that's been the story all day for this team, and what can you say? They're playing a national caliber team, the Clemson Tigers. The first thing you got to do is hold on to the ball. I can remember Mike Hennigan saying, the defensive coach, Clemson was expected to drop the ball a few times, and we're going to be around and pick it up. Unfortunately, it was his team that dropped the ball and threw interceptions, and there was no way they could get away with it against this club.
Edgar Pickett to secure the defensive stop. 2nd and 13 at the 43. Perkins back to pass, rolling out, gets the pressure, and Rashid took it on the first hop.
All right, this is good coverage for Clemson. Excellent coverage, actually. This is Perry Williams on Rashid. Now watch, Rashid comes back, but so does Perry Williams. You can't do much better than that. That ball could have been completed, but it would have had to been a perfect pass by Perkins.
So it remains 13 yards to go for a first down at the 43. Perkins going for the lob to Rashid, and Rashid was under the ball, but a nice defensive play on a rather shabby pass.
Rashid had that ball, and Perkins was able to just get up and knock it out of his hand.
Perry Williams, there you see him, number 39. What valuable experience it is for that freshman.
Played good defense. The play before that was excellent defense. Tough to stop on a little hook pattern and get back with the receiver, but he did it.
Driver is deep at the 10-yard line. Clemson taking over at the 17-yard line. Another new quarterback.
Whoa!
I don't even have his number, but the interception is in, and Bernard Jones for the first score.
Well, I think this is self-explanatory. Bernard Jones is a good football player, and he said, hey, enough of this. This is the 4th quarterback I've seen today. I'm going to get this one. And Bernard Jones just steps in front of the back.
There is no 16 on the flip card. Now, I knew we were going to see a lot of players that we didn't know and hadn't seen before, and that aren't on the spotting boards. But there isn't even another 16 on the flip card.
All right, I don't know what you can say about this except that he shouldn't have thrown it. Bernard Jones has it all the way. And the back, I'll tell you something about that play. I don't know how it was designed, but the back should be in the backfield further. As he comes upfield like that flat, he's asking for an interception. Great play there.
It was intended for Holloman, Duke Holloman. The extra point kicked up and through the uprights. It's good. And so Northwest Carolina gets on the scoreboard. Dean Biasucci prepares to kick off. He just kicked the extra point. Todd Henderson's pass intercepted, taken into the end zone by the very alert Bernard Jones. Terrence Flagler is deep. It goes to Flagler at the 20. And a good hit that time by Biasucci. Yasuchi, the kicker, coming down to make a tackle.
I'm going to tell you, that was a great play. He didn't actually get to the ball carrier, but he knocked down the blocker and forced him back into Flagler. That's a strange-looking kick, didn't you think? Looked like he kicked it right to Flagler.
So Todd Henderson comes back into the game to try to gain some more experience. His first try, not that successful. 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line for Clemson. Clemson 44-7. Little fumble on the handoff. Looked like Driver, the center of the line, gets a gain of a yard or two. Correction, it was Bullard, Wilbur Bullard, the tailback.
Yeah, he did juggle the ball as he went into the line of scrimmage, and Western Carolina would have liked to have a fumble, but it was not a fumble. You wonder what can a team get out of a game at this point? Well, obviously, you put the young players in, and it's a little different playing against people you're not familiar with. And the coaching staff in the film can see how a player reacts in front of a crowd and opposition.
2nd and 7 from the 29. Nice spinning move by Bullard that time. Nice quick move to get away from the tacklers as he moves it over the 30-yard line. Make it to the 32-yard line. Richard Dukes making the tackle. Todd Henneford.
Well, he's got to be excited. You know, Todd didn't expect to be in this ball game, and he's just sitting around. Somebody tapped him on the helmet and said, Todd, you get in there and run the offense in front of 71,000 people on opening day here.
From Loris, South Carolina, a sophomore. Everybody met at the ball, but after a first down, Tiger Green got the first hit.
Good run by Bullard. He put his head down. Is there no end to the tailbacks on this team?
Wilbur's got a broken shoulder pad, and he comes out of the ball game. Flowers comes back in. Kenny Flowers, a freshman tailback. He's 210 pounds. Flowers gets the call. Good fullback block. Flowers out of bounds at the 44.
Well, that was a good block there on number 14, Dukes, for Western Carolina. Allowed Flowers to get outside, sprung him. Good block on the corner.
Rodney Quick, a freshman. He's 210 pounds, from Charleston, South Carolina, throwing the block from the fullback spot. 2nd and 4 now for Clemson at the 44.
It's interesting that number 16, Hannaford, does not even have his name on the back of his jersey. Now, I don't know, can we be sure that's his jersey? Maybe he has it on inside out. We don't know, but he's in the ball game now, and you can bet that he's trying to play as well as he can.
Quick got his chance at carrying the ball that time. Shy of a first down by a yard, so it'll be 3rd and 1 at the 47.
There's his name. We'll do it for him.
Okay. We got Todd right anyway. Henneford pitching back. Bullard makes it over the midfield stripe. Wilbur Bullard is late coming into the ball game, but what a thrill this must be for him, Kevin. He's a senior from Laurel Hill, North Carolina.
A senior, and he can run the ball. That'll give you an idea how deep Clemson is. This kid can run, and he'd probably be playing for a lot of teams, and now he's number 5 on the depth chart.
I think it gives the program some credit, too, here at Clemson, that a young man would want to stay in the program.
Right, absolutely.
First down at the 48. Quick, once again, up the middle.
Well, one thing about the rankings in the NCAA, of course, Clemson not ranked this week, but probably with this win might move into the top 20 next week. The point differential between teams is extremely important when they come to ranking a team. How much did you win by? That's always bothered me, because it kind of gives you the well, it kind of encourages you to run up the score, and I've never liked that. Because I've played for some bad teams. I guess that might be the reason.
Bernard Jones making the stop on the last play. I think it's Quick again up the middle, and he does not get the first down.
Surratt made that tackle. Put his 255 on his back and drove him to the ground.
Okay. Jeff Parker. Let's try him for a while. He's a sophomore from Alabama. 6'3", 180-pound sophomore quarterback.
It's a 5-minute daily update with Clemson head coach Danny Ford and the voice of the Tigers, Jim Phillips. That's the Danny Ford Show with many of your local radio
I'd like to have the wrap-up show on your radio network and something like this. Take you all day just to tell the story. Bullard, not much running room, so it'll be a 4th down situation. Lewis Cooper to make the stop. Cooper had a great 1982 season. He was all Southern Conference. 109 tackles, 9 sacks, 5 fumble recoveries. Sacks for minus 63 yards. What a year he had. And of course, he is once again looking forward to a fine season in the Southern Conference. Pauling is back to punt, but the yellow flags are flying. 2 minutes, 6 seconds remaining to be played in the ball game. Clemson leading at 44-7. The only score came on an intercepted pass. And that was after Clemson had scored its 44 points.
In Western Carolina's defense a little bit, they lost 3 players out of their starting backfield last year, and they were an excellent offensive team. That's a procedure penalty on Clemson. They lost Ron Mixon, who was the all-conference quarterback and threw for 199 yards in the first half against Clemson last year. Another penalty.
Once again, another flag. Now we see number 6, Bob Pauling, is doing the punting this time. Normally the number 1 place kicker, and he is the backup punter. So if something in the future should happen to Hatcher, who's just an outstanding punter, Pauling would be available with some experience.
Getting back to that, the offensive backfield, they also lost Anthony James. He was an all-conference tailback. Their starting fullback, Mark Womack, and Mixon, who was the leading quarterback in the Southern Conference. So this is a rebuild offense.
4th and 14. The fair catch called for. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Western Carolina as the fair catch made by Kreiser. We'll be back right after this word. Ball at the 13-yard line. Western Carolina now with 1:45 on the clock. Beck, Milton Beck, the ball carrier.
Number 24, Milton Beck, ball carrier.
Perry Williams making the stop. Art Ekman along with Kevin Kiley. From Death Valley, Clemson leading at 44-7 over Western Carolina. Western Carolina trying to mount another drive now for experience sake. Perkins, the quarterback. Kyler. Christy Kaiser.
Well, that was an excellent pass by Perkins. And Perkins has done very, very well. Of course, not fair to compare him to Gilbert. Gilbert had to come in at the start of the game when it was in question. But Perkins has played extremely well and thrown some nice accuracy. Has been excellent.
With the score, Clemson 44, Western Carolina 7. We'll pause now for a word from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network. This is Art Ekman with Kevin Kiley from Memorial Stadium in Clemson. We're in the 4th and final period, 1:13 remaining with the score, Clemson 44-7 over Western Carolina. Western Carolina with the football at their own 36, 1st and 10. Perkins fumbling the snap again. They're having some problems there.
Western Carolina falls on their own fumble.
The next Raycom Sports telecast of Clemson football will be next Saturday night when the Tigers face Boston College. Check your local listings for the exact telecast time and date in your area. Perkins back to throw. It's complete. Out of bounds on the far sideline to Tyrone DeLapp. DeLapp, a junior from Winston-Salem.
I think we're seeing the game plan late in the game, Art. Short passes to the sideline. Perkins has executed it very well against a lot of backups in the Clemson defense, but I believe this is what they wanted to do all along. They came in with the type of plan, let's hit them quick before the rush gets to us.
Clemson football being brought to you today by Miller Beer, brewers of Miller Lite. 49 seconds on the ticker right now. Western Carolina with the ball. 3rd and 13 at the 33. Perkins taking plenty of time. Good spin on the ball, and it's complete. Kaiser moves across midfield. 41 seconds on the clock. Wouldn't it be nice for Western Carolina's sake to put it in the end zone with an offensive drive as the clock begins? 38 seconds left.
Gain of 21 yards. It's a first and 10 for the Cats.
The Catamounts. Completed pass to Rashid, and Rashid takes it up the middle. That's where the Clemson defense wants it with 23 seconds left. Timeout is called. The ball at the 40-yard line.
It's a shame we haven't had more of an opportunity to see Rashid under pressure. He looks to be a whale of a ball player. Comes back, catches the ball well, and then in and out. Fans at 44-7. Speaking of in and out, the fans are doing their out.
Got to hand it to the Clemson fans today. It was very poor weather last night. The rain was just bouncing about an inch off the pavement last night. And it was drizzly all morning long, and yet a new record crowd here at their Clemson home. 71,500 came to see the opening game of the 1983 season. We expect them to come in droves all season long because this stadium is virtually sold out now for the rest of the season. A new upper deck this year that allows them to expand some 15,000 seats. Willie Perkins, your quarterback now for Western Carolina. 2nd and 3 at the 40. Perkins with the rush, dumps it off.
You got to like Perkins. I'll tell you, he stood in there, he got a little jittery, but who wouldn't? And then when he realized he was going down, he threw it away and didn't take the sack. Perkins has maybe found himself a spot on this on the starting team today. He really has outplayed Gilbert, although, as I say, Gilbert played against the first unit. But this kid's got a lot of poise.
Jim Scott with the tackle.
3rd and 3 for the Catamounts.
Scott's a senior, 3-year letterman, 6'4", 250 from Mount Vernon High School. 16 seconds on the clock. 3rd and 3 at the 40. Perkins has his man. Beautiful pass. He laid it in there perfect inside the 20 down to the 15-yard line. The pass was complete to Haywood Smith, a 6'1" sophomore from Charlotte.
And it was a perfect pass, under pressure, up the middle. A tough pass to throw.
Number 85, Alonzo Carmichael. And they try to throw it out of the bounds with 4 seconds on the clock.
Perkins pass out of bounds. Intended for Tyson.
Well, you said, wouldn't it be nice if they could get in? And I think it would be nice. They're on the 16-yard line, and Perkins has done a nice job, and they've got a chance now with 4 seconds to go to get their offense on the board, and that would go a long way towards next week's game for Western Carolina.
Now they're going for the field goal. Miyasuchi out of the hold of Renigi. And the knuckleball goes up, and it's good.
Not pretty, but it's 3.
The last play of the ball game with the final score, Clemson 44, Western Carolina 10. We'll be back with more Clemson football right after this word from Burger King. The crowd filtering out now from Memorial Stadium as their Clemson Tigers have taken a 44-10 victory over Western Carolina. Western Carolina possibly finding themselves a quarterback for the season. Clemson, of course, getting a lot of experience to many people who are going to have to battle the rest of the season in the ACC.
Well, I think the positive thing about Clemson's victory, aside from the points, is that offensively they were a question mark. Dan Ford called them a tailback-oriented team. That may be changing. They threw the ball well deep. They threw it well short. They went wide. They went up the middle. Everybody ran well, and their defense, as expected, held up. Clemson has a balanced football team and one whale of a schedule for the rest of the year. Boston College coming up next week, and I believe the Tigers made tremendous amount of progress, and they'll be ready.
We'll pause now for a word from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.